Hey there, welcome back to the Schwowin's Nest. My name is Sandra, and I'm so glad you're here. Today, I'm getting inspiration from the Antique Farmhouse. They have so many beautiful home decor pieces, and I found four that I knew would look amazing in my home. The first is this sheep tray. I found this tray at the Goodwill for $2.79. It has a different shape and feel than the inspiration piece, but that's okay. It's getting a coat of chocolate paint by DIXIE. However, once it was dry, I decided to go in a different direction. To get an old look to the tray and give it some texture, I'm using a round brush that is flat and DIXIE Dropcloth chalk paint. I like to start with a lighter touch and then add more paint to get the look I want. It's so much easier to add paint than to take it away. You can see that I'm constantly tapping it onto a piece of paper to make sure I don't get any thick blobs on my project. Finding graphics for your projects can sometimes be tricky, but I use Creative Fabrica for a lot of them. You can purchase individual images and backgrounds and then put them together to make your own scene. That's what I did with this sheep and the background. If you're not sure how to do that, I do have 5 gorgeous images like this available on my Etsy shop as a digital download. I've done all the heavy lifting for you, so all you need to do is print them off and apply them to your project. I also have a link to Creative Fabrica in my description box, and I'll have the links to both the sheep images and the backgrounds available for you there. Here, I'm showing you the different effects you get when you tear your softened paper from the front or the back. From the front, you'll get some white edging, but if you tear it from the back, it will just show the ink. So I like to do it from the back, although I always start at the front because I don't use this technique very often and I always forget. But this is a really good tip for you if you didn't already know it. I've done a few decor pieces with a rusty effect, but this time it didn't look good. So I switched gears again and went back to the Dropcloth paint and put it on heavier to cover that area and the rest of the tray. I'm much happier with the look now. For paper this big, it would have been better to use a thin coat of Mod Podge instead of using a glue stick. I got some large bubbles because the glue stick dries so much quicker, and so some areas weren't glued to the tray at all. I had to go over it with Mod Podge, especially around the edges, to ensure it was stuck down well. This ended up giving me some wrinkles, although I'm okay with the wrinkles, but some of you may not like the wrinkles. So make sure you're using the proper glue for your project. Because this tray was so shiny, I really should have given it a coat of bonding primer. The one I use is Fusion Ultra Grip. I noticed that some of the paint was rubbing off easily, so now it's getting a coat of matte sealer to ensure that the paint stays put. Now the tray is getting some aging or antiquing wax to give it that vintage farmhouse look. I have bare antique wax, but you can use any type that you like, although I would recommend using a paste rather than a liquid for this particular item. Once it's applied, I remove the excess with a paper towel or a soft cloth. And there you have it, a gorgeous vintage farmhouse tray that cost way less than the original. It's a home decor dupe that was simple and easy to achieve. Here's a reminder of what the inspiration piece looked like and how much it is. It's listed at $49. If you count all the paint and products that I used for my project, it came in probably around $4. I used to collect blue glass pieces, so I have a whole bunch of them that I am now repurposing into new decor. This one has these small handles on the sides, so I thought it would make a great dupe for this piece from the Antique Farmhouse. The base color is Driftwood by DIXIE BELLE. It's a soft gray that mimics the tone of concrete. Once that dries, I'm going to add baking soda to the same color, so the second coat will have a more rough look with added texture and brush strokes. If you've never used baking soda with paint before, don't be alarmed at how thick it is when you first begin mixing it. It will blend together after a couple of minutes. I'm going to brush it on in horizontal strokes, and if it goes on thick in some spots, I'm going to leave it be. I want it to have an organic look. To achieve the crackle finish on the top like the inspiration piece, I'm applying a thick coat of Crackle Medium by Folk Art. I've had this one bottle for years. It really goes a long way. Because I was putting it on so thick, I did get some drips. So be aware, the thicker you put it on, especially on a project like this that is standing up to dry, it might drip down. But I just cleaned those up with a paper towel. Once the crackle is dry, you apply the color on top of it. I'm using a creamy off-white that I mixed a while ago. I'm trying to use up all the paints I have before buying new ones. The trick to getting a nice crackle is applying a thick coat of paint on top of the crackle medium. It's important not to go over it more than once because it starts to work right away. And if you brush over it again, you risk removing the crackle and then you're just left with a big mess. For a final vintage touch, I'm going to use the antiquing wax to grunge it up a bit. I love seeing how the crackle paint finish looks when it's aged. All I'm going to do is use my brush, put some on, and then wipe it back. And I'll just keep playing with it until I get the look that I'm going for. I know the inspiration piece didn't have any aging, but I want all of my projects today to look like they belong together. And using one paint technique or one style is the best way to do that. In my last video, I showed you my finally tidied craft room. And now that I know what I have, I'm going to use up all of my pieces before I buy anything new. So I grabbed these two terracotta saucers that you can get at any dollar store and glued them together at the bottoms. This is the inspiration, a simple trinket tray with beads and a small tassel. I've done large beaded trays before, but never a small one, so I knew it would be fun to try it out. I'm using these half-inch wooden beads and stringing them onto a piece of twine. It will be so much easier to wrap them around the saucers if they're on a string. For the base color, I went back to the creamy white from the Crackle vase. It had really good coverage, so only one coat was needed on the saucers. All I had to do now was tie the beads onto the saucers. I made a tight knot and then used hot glue to tack them in place here and there so they wouldn't sag. If you're watching my channel for the first time, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I'd love it if you could hit that red button and stick around a while. Then I needed a small twine tassel. I wrapped the twine around my 3 fingers about 20 times, then tied another piece towards the top to hold it in place. I used the end of a paintbrush to open up the loops at the top, then ran the tails from the original beads into the loop and tied it tightly. I also used a little dab of hot glue to hold the twine tassel into place a little bit better. This is how I've always made my tassels, but if you have an easier way or one that turns out a little bit more nice looking, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear how you make your tassels. Using the same paint, I went over the beads. Then once they were dry, I distressed the whole thing with the antiquing wax again. Just a very light touch this time. I love how this little tray turned out. I think it'll be really neat to store different things in there. It could be a catch-all for keys up at the front door. Maybe put it on your dresser for some rings and jewelry. There's many things that you could use a little tray like this for in your home. Let me know what you think about my tray versus the Antique Farmhouse tray. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I love using birds in my decor. This one was from the Goodwill a while ago, and it's so shiny and slick that it needs a primer. So I'm using Fusion Ultra Grip, but you could also give it a coat of clear or colored spray paint. You could also use some Mod Podge to give it a little bit more grip. I have 3 little birds. Each of them is a little bit different. They'll all get a couple coats of Dixie Belle silk paint, which is primer, paint, and sealer all in one, in the color Saltwater. If you're interested in trying out Dixie Belle products, I have links in my description box. I've also been looking for some fan brushes that are really soft, and I finally found some on Amazon. These are actually for applying face masks, so they are super soft. I'll have that link for you too. Here's my inspiration from the Antique Farmhouse. Aren't these little birds just adorable? I really love the rustic look. Did you see that price tag? $142 for 5 little birds on some blocks. I went digging through my stash of odds and ends and found this wood round that used to house a Christmas tree, a stack of 3 wood slices that I had used in a different project, and a wood block from the Dollar Tree. I sanded down all of the corners and edges on the wood block so they would be more rounded and softer. I then painted all of the bases with the same saltwater paint. Once they were dry, they got some antiquing wax too. I started off with a light touch, then gradually darkened the birds to get the right tone. I really enjoyed making these birds. I know they're a little bit different than the expensive ones online, but I think they turned out just as sweet. Let me know what you think of my little birds. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me today. I hope you enjoyed these home decor dupes inspired by the Antique Farmhouse. Here's a link to my new channel, Schwowin Thrifts, where you can see me shopping for all of my home decor items. Bye for now.